As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to the Crunch Time Sports Show with Jeff Iafrate and Booner. It's Wednesday, April Fools, April 1st. If you want some good advice from me, stay off the internet. All right? Stay off the internet, except if you're watching Crunch Time, obviously. But a lot of crap on Twitter today. Had to kind of cipher through. You know what I mean? It's the April Fools. Every single year we go through this in sports. But we got a great show. It's Wednesday, and the Doc is joining. That's not April Fools. The DOC's joining.
The DOC.
About everything that happened this week. You know, obviously, Dan Campbell's comments, the Frank stuff. There's a lot to get to with the Doc, and we have some stuff draft-related we're going to get to as well. So it'll be a great show.
Yeah, should be fun. A lot of things happening, and like you said, April Fools. I typically I'm the type, like, I would love to do an April Fool's joke. April Fool's snuck up on me today. The first thing that I saw today, and I realized it was April Fool's, was Myles Garrett traded to the Lions. And when I saw that, I realized, wait a second, it's April 1st. All right, like, we're good to go. It's not actually real. And then after that, I just didn't believe anything I heard today online. Now that we say this, Jeff, I did put some things in our prep for our show today and the things for us to talk about. Now it makes me think, did I get April Fool's? Like, did I get pranked? I don't know.
Yeah, I had to double check a lot of things. Because I saw today, like, shout out Champaign Athletics. They posted like a quote graphic of Brad Holmes.
I saw that too.
It was like, I'm going to be aggressive in acquiring an edge.
We're going all in for a Super Bowl.
We're going all in for a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I actually saw the Detroit Times tweet that out, and it was like, they're like, I knew this right away was April Fool's joke, because it was like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then
have you ever done like an April Fool's joke on someone, or like a big one, like gotten someone where you're like, oh man?
No, I haven't. I really haven't. I mean, I remember the worst one I've been a part of from like a media perspective is it was at Woodward Sports, and we posted a graphic that Kyler Murray got traded to the Lions.
I remember that actually. That was the April Fool's joke from Woodward though. That wasn't. They didn't.
No, I know, but like I'm not over here like, ooh, I'm gonna pull an April Fool's joke on somebody. No, I don't. I don't do it.
I typically would. Yeah, oh yeah, dude. I've definitely April Fool's some people. It's harder. I think in today's world, it's a lot harder to get someone because, you know, they a lot of people are very, very self-aware especially with the internet now. It's just everyone's like, it's April Fool's. So on April 1st, everyone's just on edge. So it's harder to actually like get someone.
And there's people like quote tweeting some of these April Fool's posts and are like, no way. Like, I think someone quote tweeted the Brad Holmes one. It was like, I told you guys he was going to, like, I told you Brad's not going to sit there and do nothing. Like, and I'm like, poor guy, dude. I was like, you guys, the internet cannot be trusted.
I wish I could, to be honest. Like, there was day baseball today. I put some home run a parlay in, and I almost hit, by the way. Like, I was like, there was four players that I had for a home run, Jeff. Two of them hit right away, and I was like, it was like to win like 5,000. And I was like, I think I might be getting rich here today, boys. And it did not happen. I was just saying I should message FanDuel and be like, oh, April Fools, I didn't want to put that bet in. Can I get my money back? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, that was a joke. I got you.
We got Caleb Czarnik in there going off about the Tigers. Yeah, the Tigers stink.
So bad right now, dude. It's kind of embarrassing.
So good, April Fools. He actually can't hit a baseball.
I actually have a better April Fools. The whole Tigers team as a whole can't hit a baseball. Like, that's really what the conversation is.
You know what? Can we just collectively say that 13 runs in the first two games of the season was fun? Like, can we at least say that? Like,
yeah.
That was fun. And winning, rattling off two straight. I mean, we're sitting over here going, the Tigers are back. The Bats are back. And then, you know, you foul that up, basically getting shut out. You got shut out the last game of that series, and then they just got swept by the Diamondbacks. So,
dude,
yeah, they've lost four straight. and they gave up. What was that? I was actually the game that I was dialed into was the Tigers actually were up 5-1. I think it was.
What night was it? I know last night they were up last night.
This was like a couple nights ago. I think it was game 2. Game 2. They lost 7-5. And that game, brutal watch. I mean, absolutely, especially late. They're up 5-1. And I think it was like 6 runs in the 8th.
Yeah, that was last night. They were up 5-0, and then they're up 5-1, and then in the 8th, Will Vest just decided to like, hey, I want to let the Diamondbacks back in the game. You know what's a crazy stat about the Arizona Diamondbacks series that when they just got swept? They scored, I don't know what it was, in the last 2 games, or really in the whole series. I have it right here. They scored a total of 11 runs, Jeff, in 3 games.
You said 11 runs in 3 games?
They only scored, though, in 2 of the 27 innings. They scored 11 runs, but it was only in 2 of the 27 innings in the 3-game series. Dude, that is unbelievable. Like, that's bad. That's so, and like a day like today, you have Scooball on the mound. Yeah, he gives up a home run in the first inning. Okay, whatever. Has a great outing after that. Gives up 1 run all game. And you can't even score a run to tie the game. Like, I don't know, man. Your best hitter is a rookie. Like, that's the situation right now. It's kind of it's a little bit of a like oh my goodness, taken aback a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin McGonigal, 2 for 4, had a triple in the series. The only guy getting consistent contact. Yeah, and then you have Caleb Czarnik in there crapping all over.
It's literally just
Kerry Carpenter.
I would say it's literally just like Colt Keith and Kevin McGonigal are like the 2 that have just been giving you something. It's just the young guys, to be honest. Caleb said Dingler in there too. Like, it's just the young dudes, which is your vets just are like, we don't want to play baseball this year. It feels like.
Yeah, I actually just looked up some of the stats. Game 1, Torkelson 1 for 5. Yeah, I mean, by the way, Riley Green.
Riley
game
too.
3, 1 for 4. 2 strikeouts.
He did have a big hit today in the 9th. That a big double, put himself in scoring position to tie it, but nothing even came out of it. I don't know, dude. I think it's just more so like, I was even talking to someone about Verlander, and I know Verlander, whatever it was, gave up the 6 runs, or whatever, how many runs he did, but like his outing wasn't even like fully the worst. I think he gave up only 6 hits the whole time, and it was just more so just really timely bad hits that he gave up. But like outside of that, it's just really your offense just hasn't. I mean, dude, I think it's the craziest thing to be like, hey, in the last 27 innings, you've only scored in 2 of those innings. That's embarrassing for an offense, man.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll go out there and hit. You guys don't think I can hit? I'll go do it. Let me get rolling a little bit.
Matt Ed says they are just getting the late season slump out of the way.
That's a great way to look at it. Remember last year, they started off the best team in baseball until the break, and then they were the worst. They felt like they were the worst team. Maybe it's opposite this year.
Yeah. I mean, why not be terrible to start, and then they warm up. I mean, it's just. I see another comment in here. What was it? Platonic still don't understand why they signed Verlander. What a horrible signing. I think I'm going to need a bigger sample size. I mean, there's no doubt he's shit the bed. I mean, I'm not going to act like the guy. I mean, we did go through when he was signed and look at the sample. It was a big sample size of his play over the last year and a half, and it actually wasn't bad. So
yeah,
I'm going to try and not take a one, I'm going to try and give him a little more time and get a 1-game sample size. I'm going to try and, he looked terrible though. I mean, that was rough. The nostalgia went away pretty quickly.
Dude, again, I'll stick up for Verlander. I'll stick up for Verlander just a little bit, which people probably don't want it. I think it ended up again. I had the conversation with someone. They're like, he only gave up 6 hits. Like, just the timing of each of those hits were brutal. And then after he kind of settled in, he got going a little bit. Then it was like, all right, now he's rolling. I think you got to give him a little bit of time. I mean, the man's 50 years old. Let him get in there a little bit.
By the way, rule changes are official in the NFL. So I have some of the rule changes we can look at, and you guys can look at. Now we have it's a good organized list of the rule changes. So here are the 2026 approved rule change proposals. Okay. So number 1, to permit the kicking team to declare an onside kick at any time during the game.
Yeah. Can I say something before we read all of these?
Yeah.
1 means something. 2 through 4 is nothing. I don't think these mean anything. I read them 10 times. I'm I don't know what this means. Dude.
Yeah, number 2, I guess
clue.
it basically just forces return, guys to return.
Yeah.
Well,
when they're kicking it at the 50, how often I guess they kick it at the 50 all the time, every time. But it's just I feel like these are rules that was I didn't even know these were things that they had to.
And then number 5, we talked about yesterday.
That's the big one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's for 1 year only. Allow the NFL officiating department to correct clear and obvious mistakes. But yeah, to permit the kicking team to declare an onside kick at any time during the game.
It's a big one. I think they should have switched that, and they should have made it. You don't have to declare. You can just onside whenever.
That's the whole point of an onside kick.
But you have to tell them still, which sucks.
Yeah, it's stupid.
At least now, the worst part about it before was in the second quarter or third quarter, you weren't allowed to just do it. It had to be within a certain time of the game. Now, at least you could do it at any time. But I think they should take away you have to declare. I think that's the dumbest thing of all time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. This is a step, I guess, semi in the right direction. But it should also be you don't have to declare. Now, you can permit one. You can do it at any time of the game, but also you don't have to tell the other team you're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because then there's Sean Payton pulled it off. Yeah, I think
the Super Bowl. Yeah, coming out of the half, it was incredible. And they got
the
it.
Thing that's the point. We still talk about that moment. That should be more imagine that.
For sure. I think it's crazy because it's and then do you have to declare? Do I have to yell to the other side? Hey guys, I'm about to run the football. You don't have to declare if you're running or passing. Oh, hey, we're about to fake punt. Just so you guys know, we're lined up to punt. We're fake punting. It's what? You would never do that. What are we doing here?
Oh, by the way, Caleb just sent a tweet he wants us to read out.
Yeah, I saw the tweet. I saw it the other day. He tweeted it out. I don't want to tear Torque down. I look at Torque as a friend of the program. Even though we've only met him once, but I look at him as a crunch time member.
Hey, let's see. We gotta.
But he is batting 9%.
You know what you got to do to your friends? You got to be honest.
With runners in scoring position.
I mean, this is. Oh. Spencer Torkelson is batting that with bases juiced or runners on second and third in his career.
I would like
0.97.
Can we get other sample sizes of other people in these situations? I want to see if he's really an outlier.
I mean, if a turd's next to other turds, it's still a turd. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what if Aaron Judge is batting 10%? 0.1. Well,
that's bad. It doesn't change the fact it's a turd. You know what I mean?
I love Torque too, man. He's one of my favorites, dude. I love that turd, dude. That's one of my favorite turds, dude.
Oh, whoa.
I'm a Torque guy, man. I'm a Torque believer.
ETN says, I'm not going to pretend like I know what this. Basically, what this means is these are the moments
big
where
moments.
you step up, big moments. You got.
This is football terms. You have the ball inside the 5-yard line, and you go 6 for 62. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking guys that are on either second and third, which would be massive, or bases juiced. I mean, to bat that is is turd behavior. I mean, it just is. It's turd
What
behavior.
what does this mean, by the way? How long before we have a computer simulation for sports with Booner's squad against the Phillies, winner of the matchup via VR for real money in baseball as we know it goes away? My squad, like just a team full of
did
me.
God Hates Cowards just smoke whatever Joe Rogan smokes or Aaron Rodgers? Some of that ayahuasca. I mean, did God Hates Cowards just smoke some ayahuasca?
Is he saying a baseball team full of Booners, 9 Booners batting?
I mean, what kind of thought? I appreciate the thought, but like, where does this thought even come from?
Shout out to D-Mac and his profile. Happy birthday to D-Mac, by the way.
Yeah, happy birthday to D-Mac. Shout out. Absolute legend. But yeah, where does these thoughts come from? I mean, so are you insinuating that it would be VR sports
with Booners in them? Like a whole team of Booners. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the Michigan situation today?
Yeah, I didn't really I didn't really look too much into it. I saw it happen. Can you? I mean, you probably are more.
Didn't like to hear it. Did you see the picture and the video?
No, I did not. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
I mean, I could see if I could find the video real quick, but it was like, so what happened was they were like getting ready to leave for, I could share this video here. So at least you have some sort of context and the people do, but they were about to leave to go to Indy. And there's a player getting carted out. Like look, he's covered up. It's like, what's happening? And you have to imagine, like for me, dude, when I see this, they didn't say what happened, what the player was, like, or who the player was, what it was. And it was like, what's going on right now? And they literally were at the facility. They just did like a walk with like fans getting them off to go to the airport to go to Indy for the Final Four. And they were like, there was an emergency. A player, I clicked the wrong one, my bad.
It says he had an allergic reaction.
So Elliot Cadeau had an allergic reaction. He ate something on the bus that had an allergic reaction. He's good to go now. In the moment, got to put your head, like with me, it's like, what's going on? And then you see it was Elliot Cadeau, and you're like, oh, we're playing in the Final Four in 2 days, and your starting point guard is getting taken off in an ambulance while you're on your way to Indy for the Final Four. Like, that's pretty crazy. But they said he's good to go, just letting, he's with medical personnel to make sure like everything is okay, everything's set, and then he's heading to Indy to meet the team. So thank God, dude. That was like, when I saw that today, my heart dropped. I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, that's scary. That kid can shoot threes too. So they definitely
point guard, man.
Yeah.
We need him, and I don't know why they pushed him out, covered up in white sheets, dude. Like, what are we?
Yeah, I mean, they know probably the media is going to be out there.
I guess,
so they probably don't want to people zooming in on him and shit, being weird.
It was a little freaky, dude. I was a little.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you see that video? Lord. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty.
When
scary.
they posted that at first, they were just like, someone on the Michigan team had a medical emergency and is going to the hospital, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
So thank goodness he's good. Hopefully he's good for Saturday though. By then, allergic reactions are weird. I don't know. They're just a weird thing.
ETN says Jeff is old enough to call a college athlete kid. Jesus, where did the time go?
Jeff's probably the same age as Elliot Cadeau.
How old is he?
I don't know, 24 maybe. What are you, 24?
I'm turning 26. I'm 25.
Oh, he's 21. Okay.
So I got 4 years. Can I say
5 years? I don't think you say kid until you're like 28, and then you're like, because once you start saying kid, that means you're like Unc. 26, dude. You're not Unc at 26.
Am I allowed to say, is he little bro? Can I be like, little bro can shoot?
Yeah, 5 years, little bro for sure. Okay, you can't say kid.
All right,
you can't say kid.
All right, little bro can shoot. That's what I would say. Not kid, little bro. That's
I'll approve you when you're allowed to say kid and you get Unc status. I'll be the one to approve.
So are you insinuating you're Unc? You're Unc.
That's up to you. I can't approve myself to be Unc. We do have an Unc already. I think Unc is 30 or older. I'm still 28.
30. That's so crazy.
I'm gonna get to 30. I'm gonna be like, Unc's 32.
Hey, by the way, we kind of I don't think we're too late to this, but I saw 97.1 talk about it, and it's an insane Lions trade for on draft night or for draft picks or to move up in the draft, I guess. It involves trading a key piece of the Detroit Lions, player-wise. And it was from NFL.com. It's a 2026 NFL draft projecting win-win trades teams should make in round one. What are you laughing at?
Nothing, dude. I don't want to say anything. It was funny, dude. Nothing, dude. It's so irrelevant. It just, you know how my brain works sometimes, man. It's not even in the chat. Just what you said. You're like, I saw it 97.1 say this, and I was like, hey, shout out Boone, dude.
What do you mean?
I said, did you see the Sam Laporta trade? And you're like, no, I didn't. I say, here it is. And then you're shot on 97.1. It's just, bro, it's so funny.
Well, I saw the reason why I did.
I don't know. It's funny, dude. I'm drinking coffee. I'm a little giggly.
It popped
right
up
now.
on a reel on YouTube, and they were talking about it. I was like, what the hell is this? And then now you sent me it, so now I know where they got it from. Here's the trade. So it's a projected draft night trade involving the Lions and the Commanders, and involves Sam Laporta. All right, so
this is a big trade, by the way,
so
dude. When I saw this,
we'll look at what the Commanders get. Okay, you guys tell me if this is worth it. 2026 first round pick, 17th overall. 2026 sixth round pick, 205. So they get a first and a sixth. The Commanders and Sam Laporta.
So this year's first and this year's six.
Yes, and Sam Laporta. And then the Lions get a first round pick this year. They move up 10 spots to 7. They get a third round pick next year and tight end Ben Sinnott.
Are you familiar with Ben Sinnott?
He's like a Brock Wright. He's not. I don't think he's that.
Yeah, he had a whole 114 yards last year.
He's their Brock Wright, basically. I think that's basically what it is.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because the issue that I have, there's two issues that I have. One, you're getting a 2027 third. I would rather give me a 2026 third. I want value in this year's draft because we're probably going to have to draft a tight end if we're getting rid of Laporta. And in the third round, you could probably get a really good tight end. But the issue I have is, who are you trading up to number 7 for?
It's a weird number because after about 4 or 5, it just starts. You don't really know what's going on.
Because if you want to trade up for a defensive player, right, if you're going to trade up that much and give up that much, you're going to probably want one of the higher end defensive players. So you're essentially trading up for an Arvell Reese, a Sonny Styles, a Ruben Bain. Guess who's probably not going to be there at 7? Like those guys.
Well, yeah, I mean,
most of those guys are going to probably be in the top 6.
Yeah, you're probably going to just miss out on Sonny Styles,
Even maybe David Bailey.
Yeah, maybe David. David's projected to go anywhere from like 2 to 7. 8.
Yeah.
So like you don't guarantee you're getting him. I think this trade would be it would the only way this would, I think, make fans feel a little better, because you're losing Sam Laporta, which this basically admits if Brad does this, I can't pay him. Okay. So, and I understand he's got some back injury, or he had a back injury. Actually, ironically enough, against the Commanders, they actually injured his back. So he's going to the Commanders. So that's you admitting basically, I'm not paying this guy. Okay. You get a third round pick for next year. First round pick, you move up 10 spots. If you can land Ruben Bain, and Ruben Bain is a very, very good player and, 8 to 10 sack a year guy.
Yep.
I think people probably feel pretty good. They probably, or David Bailey, like you said, feel pretty good. But there's no guarantee of that. So this would have to be like as the board's going, you know what I mean? Like you'd have to
Let's do this. Simulation. Are you ready, Jeff? Ruben Bain's on the board and David Bailey's on the board. You just got a call. You're Brad Holmes. You just got a call from the Commanders. Hey, Brad, this is Adam Peters from the Washington Commanders. I have to put this trade in within the next 10 seconds. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? 10, 9, 8,
To move up to
7,
what pick was it?
6, 5, 4, 3,
Yes.
2. Okay, you're in. I was putting you on the spot to see if you would do that trade. Like,
Yeah.
who
I
are you
think David
drafting if those
Bailey-
two guys are on the board? David Bailey
David Bailey or who?
or Bain? They're both on the board still.
Probably go David Bailey. I
Love
think
it.
the Lions would take Bain though.
Yeah,
I think he fits like what they probably are looking for.
they like a little different edges.
Yeah, he's
they're
6'3",
like
280. Like,
Yeah. I liked it. I think David Bailey is going to be a better edge rusher in the league. That's me. But
honestly, maybe I'd even take. That's a tough one.
I think David Bailey. I think it's Arvell Reese, David Bailey in this draft. I think and I would argue almost David Bailey won personally. So that's just me. And then I think it's Bain right after that.
Because like the thing about Ruben Bain that I like a lot, the only thing that it hurts him is his arms, right? Like which is like, I know it sounds stupid, but that's the only thing. He is the most complete edge. He can defend the run too. He's an elite run defender and pass rusher.
Yeah,
it's just his arms, man. Like I don't know what to do with that. Which I don't know.
I think people are like underestimating, or will be like,
David Bailey's.
Who cares about the arms? But I gave you the stat, Jeff, of like the top, what was it, like 10 to 15 edge rushers in the NFL last year, and like their arm lengths were all. It's part of having leverage. You can be as good as you want, but like it is part of that. Like it affects the game, especially once you get to the next level, and it's like every minute thing, matters. It's one of those things.
I mean, how bad is it? Is it like 30?
It was low or short. His arms were short.
It's 30 and 7/8, almost 31-inch arms.
And do you remember the stat that I had, the tweet that we had looked at when we were at the combine? I think it was like the top 15 sack leaders of 2026. I think all of their arms were like 32 or higher or longer or something like that.
Yeah, and the thing about Hutch, like Hutch was 32 inches, so it basically is about an inch difference, but he's also 6'6".
I would be interested to see if there was any edge rushers at Ruben Bain's size with 30-inch arms that have had success in the NFL. I like good success where you're comfortable drafting in the top 5, him in the top 5. I wonder if that's a thing, if a player has done that. So you at least can have a little bit of faith if you do take them.
Yeah, it's a good question because and even like MD Gladiator, look at Bain's bend over Reese. Yeah, the thing that scares me about Alvaro Reese, I'll say this. Sometimes when you get guys that are like edge linebacker hybrids, they end up getting into the league and you don't really know what to do with them. Like it gets like weird. I know this sounds ridiculous, and I don't think they might not be the same player, but Isaiah Simmons, remember him years ago? He was like a 6'4" linebacker safety freak, and he was drafted really high. And then he got in the league, and he's just like, they didn't know, he didn't thrive in it either. So I think like Arvell kind of worries me with that, where he's just like, he's a good player, but I don't know, like, is he an edge? He doesn't really have a lot of bend, but he's a great, you know what I mean? He's a great athlete. Like, I don't know. That one kind of scares me. Like, I would rather take, I'm gonna be honest, if I was the Jets, I would probably take either Bailey or Bain instead at 2. Like, I would take him over Arvell Reese, if I'm being honest. I just don't know what you do with Arvell Reese. I really don't. Maybe Klotz would have more insight to that, but
yeah,
I've seen those types of players come out and fail. You know what I mean? There's some players that work out, but like, I don't know.
It is interesting. Klotz, Ohio State guy, is a Bain fan over Arvell Reese, which it feels like. So
yeah, which I mean,
a little shocking.
Because he's 240, so he's not like Arvell Reese is 240, so he's not like big enough. Like, he's got to gain weight.
Yeah.
Like, is he a linebacker? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is he? I don't know. He's actually lighter than AQM. AQM's like 250. So I don't know.
He's small then, dude. Wow.
And he doesn't have a lot of bend. He looks stiff, too.
He does. He did in the pro days.
Like a linebacker rushing the passer. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Like,
He
I
really
don't know.
does. He honestly, he's going to probably end up being like a Sam in the NFL.
Yeah, like maybe that he could do something like that.
But like a very, very good. Kind of like what's his name? What's his name from last year? Jihad Campbell, like a Jihad Campbell type deal.
Yeah, like I don't even know. Like, these are all questions. Probably Klotz. I'm not sitting here watching Arvell Reese at Ohio State, so I don't.
Jihad was very versatile, I feel like.
So I don't know like too much. I can't speak too much about that. But yeah, I actually, before we move on, stay on this draft topic. They, there's another player that we haven't been a huge fan, or at least I haven't been a huge fan of, that keeps getting mocked to the Detroit Lions. And ESPN came out with an article, favorite team fits of the top 20. And guess who they have as a favorite fit for the Lions? It's no one else other than Caden Proctor, the left tackle out of Alabama, which, it says here, with reports of Panay potentially moving to left, replacing Decker, the Lions could find their new right tackle in Proctor. He has the strength and power to shut down power rushers. His ability to displace defenders in the run game would fit with Detroit's identity. He's just 20 years old with 40 starts under his belt.
Get used to that name, people. I'm telling you, Caden Proctor might end up being a Detroit Lion, and fans don't like him, Jeff.
I mean, Proctor, it says he's a left. He spent his whole career at left tackle.
Oh, he's a left tackle. I think the mindset, and maybe this guy,
he play right.
I think it's the mindset is like with Panay Sewell when he came out of college, where it's like, hey, we have our left tackle, we're settled on Panay at left, we're going to get you on the right side. Panay never really played right side in college, but he was able to make that move. I think it's just more so, hey, let's get you over to the other side. I think Caden Proctor, I know, again, people hate it. I think it's a legit option for the Detroit Lions at 17, or even trade back and add some pieces and get a Caden Proctor. I think it really is. And I know people don't want to hear that, but I think like a Caden Proctor, a Blake Miller, like these guys that you guys are all like, oh, I don't know. Like, get ready to learn Caden Proctor, because it could happen. That sound did not. I mean, when he becomes a Lion, I'm going back to clipping that. You going? Ugh.
This is where I am very, very skeptical of Proctor. At 17, especially this is where Klotz, he said this one time, and he actually got my attention with this point, because it's a good point. Like, we got it. You know what I'm saying? Because people use it against Ohio State all the time with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They always use it with quarterbacks. What Ohio State quarterback has ever been good? It's kind of the same thing with like tackles at Alabama. I mean, they've produced, it says here, I think it's about 7 or 9 NFL drafted offensive tackles, 5 first rounders in the last 15 years. 5 first rounders. You know who those first rounders are? Let's see. Evan Neal, Alex Leatherwood, Jedrick Willis, who visited with the Lions, Jedrick Willis Jr., Jonah Williams, who is on his like second or third team, DJ Fluker. And all those guys first rounders, and a couple of those guys top 10s, and none of them have been good. I think DJ Fluker, if I remember, actually wasn't that bad.
I would just like to make one statement real quick, Jeff, in regards to this. Every single one of those guys pass your name test.
Actually, DJ Fluker, sorry, he's playing for the DC Defenders last year.
Shout out UFL.
So listen, like, this is where
did you say I actually think he's starting for a team right now?
No, I said I think back in his day. I can't. Maybe I was wrong. He's played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 different NFL teams in the UFL.
Am I wrong on the name test though? DJ Fluker. That passes the name test with flying colors.
Caden Proctor is a cool ass name.
That's what I'm saying. All these names, and you're trying to tell me you're. Come on now.
I just like it is. Does that like maybe cross your mind a little bit? Like,
it does, but again, it's a different Alabama than it was in the past. It's not the same old Alabama.
And it's not even like it's not like the guy is a perfect prospect either. He's 350 pounds. Like,
He's working on his weight.
He's gotta be. I mean, he's athletic, obviously, very athletic.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if they took Caden Proctor at 17, I'd be like, ooh. But if they like traded back and took him even, I'd be like, okay. Like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you've fallen in love with the athletic traits. Yeah, I think DJ Fluker. Correct, chat. Am I right on that? I think DJ Fluker wasn't that bad actually.
So what if Caden Proctor's a DJ Fluker for you?
Well, I mean, all respect to DJ Fluker, like he couldn't stay with a team for longer than like a couple of years, but he's been solid. You know what I'm saying? Is he worth 17th overall? Probably. I don't know.
Listen. I think Caden Proctor is one of the more interesting tackles in this
super
class.
Interesting.
Because you just don't know, and he could end up being like an all-pro tackle because of his size, and you're like, oh, this guy is like how did we miss on him? Or he could end up being like one of the biggest busts of all time because he gets drafted in the first round, and he's 350, and he just can't do much. So I don't know, dude. I don't know what to make of Caden Proctor, but I will say this: if you're a Lions fan, these are the types of players where Brad's like, I like this guy, like I'm in on him.
Have they met? Did they meet with him?
Yes, they did at the combine.
Formally? I
believe so.
Yeah, and Max Iafrate. Ooh,
Me and Klotz went back and forth a little bit about that.
Who would you rather have, Proctor or Max Iafrate? Chat, who would you rather have? You got one.
Probably pick. Max, because it's going to be the value, because you're going to get him later.
No, 17.
Oh, 17.
Even if they trade, let's say they trade back to like 24. Both those guys are on the board. Lions are taking one of them only. Who are you going with? Even if they trade back. But those are the only two you're taking.
I would be sitting there.
Those are two guys, a lot of questions. You know what I mean? Like, because one's kind of a project. The other one has question marks about his lateral quickness. I mean, who are you taking? I do really like Max. Like, I think Max is going to has the potential to be really good. Again, he's super raw, dude. He is. So he's got the size. He has everything to be a great tackle. So it's like you would go that, but like Klotz is like making the argument to me. Well, he still hasn't played a lot of football, and I was like, well, he's been injured a little bit, and they're like, well, there's really not that much concern on injury. But to me, it's just more so it's like getting reps. Like when you start playing football in high school, junior year, and then you miss a full season almost at Arizona State, that's less reps you're getting. So you really haven't played that long. So if that one feels more like I think Max is going to be potentially better, has a higher ceiling, but it's just that's more so of a project side of things. So if you're in for that, that's how I look at it a little bit. Well, am I wrong? No, you're definitely right when it comes to what you're expecting to get out of Max. Like this is where I want people to be. I'm just trying to be the messenger here. We've been screaming from the mountaintops, no projects, but people are talking themselves into a project in the first round. Like, we got to be consistent. Like, well, guys, which side of the fence are we on? You know what I mean? I don't know if Max is coming in day one and being like, I'm here to, mess everything up. Like, let's go. I mean, I don't think the Lions are in a position to take a swing on a guy. Like, of course they met with him. Why? I mean, because he's intriguing. It's like, well, let me hear your story. Like, what the hell? You've been playing football for a couple of years. Like, I'm sure they wanted to get to know him a little bit, but selecting him at 17 or trading back to 23 and taking him or something like that's like this whole offseason's been draft guys that are ready to play and contribute. And you draft a right tackle that's been playing football for like 5 years. I do think Caden Proctor can play right away. So Caden Proctor, I'll give you this: 40 starts, and he's been playing football. He's a 5-star recruit in high school. Like he's been that guy. He's just got to. I think the only negative to Caden Proctor is obviously he's 350, but then also there's the side that you just keep bringing up where it's like, hey, Bama tackles haven't been that great in the league. That's the only argument that you have. Yeah, because to be fair, okay, take away my Alabama. But when you watch the film and you talk about his starts and everything, it's like, hey, it kind of makes sense. And talk about the competition. You know what I'm saying? Between him and Max, like, dude, he's in SEC edges. Like, he's getting, people, and I get people are like, it's not the same old SEC, but there's still some good defensive linemen. I know it's not, what it was because of NIL, but still, like, He was there years ago. He's been there for how many years? 3 years? 3 years? So, yeah, I would probably cautiously take Proctor in that scenario. I would take Proctor over Max Iafrate.
I think my rankings would be like obviously Maui Goa. Spencer Fano is in there.
I'm gonna go Spencer Fano.
I'd go Monroe Freeling number 2, and then I'd go Spencer Fano, and then I'd go Caden Proctor. Like that would be my 5 right there. Maui Goa, Freeling, Fano, and Proctor. 4. There we go. I said 5. 4. That'd be my top 4. And then if you want to go 5th, then I'd probably end up going like a Blake Miller over. I would go Blake Miller over Max, I think, and then I would go Max. But again, it depends where you're at. If you're in the second round, I'd go
Lomu. Where's Lomu? The Lomu.
I think Lomu's an interesting one. I would go Lomu, but I think Lomu is one of those interesting guys too. Because to me, the question I had with Lomu is like, why isn't he giving him as much credit as like a Spencer?
He just doesn't do anything. He doesn't have any like elite traits. Like his arms are just fine. You know. Like
That's why, though, like he has to be below all these guys, is because it's like these guys do have a really high ceiling.
He's 6'6", you know. He's like, he's not like Spencer Fano's lighter than he is, but he's probably like 310. He's probably got to gain like 10 pounds or whatever. But he was great in college. I mean, Spencer Fano was great. He was great too. But he's just not like athlete. Like Fano is a freak athlete, so he's gonna go higher.
I would love Spencer Fano. I really would.
And his run blocking. True. Lomu's run blocking.
I think he's the guy you could throw at right tackle and move Panay. And you like Fano's like he had that interview a couple weeks ago with Kay Adams, and they're like, who do you want to play like? Who do you want to be like? Like who are you modeling yourself after? Like who's your guy? And he like dead serious is like Panay Sewell. And it's pair him up with him now.
I think Fano, honestly, like I think him and Maui Noah are like the best tackles in the draft. I do. I think and Monroe Freeling, I'd put 3rd. You could put him 2. I'd put Fano higher. I think him and him and Maui Noah are right there. You know what I'm saying? Fano's
the thing with both of those two guys, though, I think the tackle is there's a chance that both of them end up playing guard in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think his arm length helped that he got measured at his pro day. Definitely. He was a little longer. It was a little
bit, 3/4 of an inch. Like it was like he got an extra full inch. I mean, 3/4 of an inch is significant when you're measuring.
It is because Ruben Bain, if he got 3/4 of an inch, he'd be almost touches.
Yeah, he'd be 31 something. Yeah.
So it is kind of important, but yeah, he's so athletic. I think he'll be all right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he does end up playing guard.
And by the way, the draft is this month. I texted you today. I was like, dude, like it's draft month. Like we're officially in draft season. And I like saw us post our mocks. It was like 7.0. And I was like, wow, we're getting really high up in our mocks. Like 7.0 sounds crazy. But then I look at it, I was like, we have 3 more weeks and that's it. Like we
usually do about 10. We do about 10 a year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have this week was 7, next week and then the week after. And then we're doing our finals. Like we won't even do like 10.0. We do like final mock drafts for Lions and our first round. So like we're 2 or 3 weeks out of the draft right now. And did you see too, by the way, that was why Brad Holmes actually stayed back and didn't go to the league meeting? Again, Rod Wood maybe talking too much was like Brad stayed back so he could finish, you know, he's finishing up draft stuff. Like he's getting some draft stuff done. I feel like Rod Wood, like, I thought it was a personal thing. I think the doc tweeted out here from someone a personal thing. Why would Rod Wood be like he's doing some draft stuff? Like, I feel like that's just something to keep under wraps. Just again, say it's personal.
Or Rod Wood is like, yeah, he's doing some draft stuff, but in reality, Brad's like handling personal business or something.
Maybe he's trying to help.
Rod didn't get the memo. It's like, Rod, it's already out there. You don't gotta like, you know what I mean? You don't gotta.
I don't know. I didn't know what to think of that when I saw him say that. I was like, wait a second. Is he like still?
Maybe you're right though. Maybe you're right. Maybe he is just. But every GM is probably like, this guy.
But that makes me honestly though, that makes me nervous. If like I kind of hope it is the personal stuff because he doesn't have a day or two to go to Arizona to do the league meetings because it's not like, oh, I'm this dialed into the draft. Like, are we behind on our draft boards right now? Like to where you can't do.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, dude. I was just when I heard that, I was like, is Brad behind?
Yeah.
They're like a
Imagine
week
Brad's
behind
like-
schedule.
Brad wakes up and he's like, dude, I gotta watch film of the first round. He goes, I didn't even get to him, man. He goes,
Wait, who's this Monroe Freeling guy?
He's like, shit. He's like,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I don't know.
Rod Wood, by the way,
This guy's been on a tour.
dude, they should have never let him talk to the media.
Did he talk about? Did you see his TA comments?
Yeah, dude, he was like,
true?
I would think,
another
I guess,
April
I think that was
Fool's
part of the Dave Burkett thing. I think
Oh,
maybe
okay, good. Yeah, because I don't know with April Fools. I don't know what's going on. I don't
he
know.
like told TA. I'm pretty sure we can ask the doc here in a
grilled him. He
minute.
said he got grilled in Rod Wood's office.
Imagine getting grilled by Rod Wood, dude.
He's Lukas Klotz. You know what he always says about people? That's a guy right there. I'd like. To
Oh
see.
my gosh, I just don't know. Like with him, it's like everything he said to the media this week just was so like just bad publicity. Like everything. He didn't say anything that ended up being good. Like
What is
even
it
him.
called? He's like, what is it called? Like he's just so like socially like unaware. Like he just didn't.
Yeah.
He was just saying, and I'm surprised because he's been in it so long. Like he just was like, he just went out there fire in a way and standing on business for everything he said. Bad decisions by him.
Yeah, they need to get Mike
Tough
Disner
one.
rolling quick, man.
Yeah,
they need to
tough.
make this change like tomorrow.
I don't know if he called Sheila. Remember that one time you said remember like Brad called someone, he's like, I just nailed that. Remember that one, Brad? You think Rod after that like called Sheila was like, don't worry, I just handled this shit down here.
Oh, I just dominated the media. Like this is gonna come out. I'll tell you what, we're gonna look better than ever. And it's like Lions are like just since just a
Brad's like,
complete
hey, Rod, you
180.
go for me, man. You take care of business. And Rod's like, I got you, Brad. Calls Brad. He's like, don't worry, I took care of it.
That is, it's actually crazy that Brad didn't go and Rod's like, I got you, Brad. Like, let me handle this one. And then Rod just destroyed everything. It's like it's like a TV show where you're like, hey, Boone, can you go do this for me? Oh, yeah, I got you, dude. And it's like, I cover for you for the week of hosting. And then, like, you come back and like our show is canceled.
That's what I think that would happen if we let the doc in charge. I think if we let the
If the doc was running our show for a week, we wouldn't have a show anymore.
Let's bring him on. The publisher of Detroit Lions on Sports Illustrated, host of Detroit Lions on Sports Illustrated on YouTube, which you should be checking out as well. Our good friend John Maakaron to talk about a lot of things. How we doing, Doc?
Fellas, what's good? What's going on? Oh, look at that. The jokes you guys were making had me laughing. Those were pretty good. Rod Wood took care of business. Hold it down, right? And the best part is probably sitting there going, yeah, Sheila, I got the $1 million back. And she's like, good job, Rod. And all of a sudden you got the whole NFL world calling you cheap. And the whole NFL world, you got people going, first of all, the best part was he just offered it up. He's like, yeah, let me tell you guys, just like Calvin Berry, we took the money back. And he seemed like he was maybe proud of it. Like, I handled my business. But yeah, it was a disaster, and it set the organization back in terms of PR a long way back. Everything that has been said has been true. Unnecessary nightmare created by Rod Wood, and you guys are absolutely right. He should not be talking to the media in any sort of capacity at all.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think naive is the right word, Doc, but it just seemed like he was just is someone who's been doing it as long as he has, Doc. Come on, man. Like,
yeah, no,
it
is a complete lack of awareness regarding how people are going to react. I mean, it's a simple thing. I talked about it with my guy Adam today. I said to him on the Doc and Jock podcast, I said, he's probably sitting around in a meeting and going, okay, we got to do this. And nobody probably says, do we care what people think? And probably not. And that's the part that's a little bit wild is when Dan Miller confronted him a little bit about it. He's just like, I have to make these decisions. And it's true. Knowing business people, they are actually obtuse to that. They don't care about feelings. He just cares about the numbers. And that's why he's in that job, to take the daggers. But if you're Sheila Hemp and that's how you're going to handle business, it's a disappointment. I'm not disappointed in Rod Wood. That's his MO. I'm disappointed in his public acknowledgement of it in an hour interview. Like let someone find it. Let Frank complain about it. You don't offer that up. Like, yeah, we did this. Don't offer that up. So I would not have him talk to the media, but I'm disappointed in Sheila because you stood there and had the fan base boo you out of the stadium, and you did the same thing that upsets your fan base. That's disregarding your customers, and nobody likes that. Only a handful of slappies are like, yeah, team, take the money, take the money. Most human beings are like, damn, Frank, thank you for your service. Keep the money, and then let me give you some more.
Yeah, Doc, I just kind of as a mixture of everything, the Frank stuff that just came out, and then obviously the Taylor Decker stuff that came out this last week of Taylor coming out and saying stuff. What are your thoughts as a whole on the situations going on with Frank and then as well as with Taylor? The Taylor one, I'm actually really interested in your thoughts because I've seen both sides of this Taylor Decker thing to where people are like, well, Taylor's in the right or the Lions are in the right. I took a different approach when we talked about it. I thought I was kind of in the middle where like, hey, I see both sides, but like, I'm not really mad. Like, honestly, I was more so on the side of the Lions where it's like, why is Taylor even coming out and saying this stuff anyways? He could have called Brad as well. He could have called Dan if he wanted to. He went out on his own and put out on his own that he asked for the release without actually calling them. So that's kind of where I was at with it. What was your kind of vision and thought process when all this stuff was coming out?
Yeah, well, here's where I think the fury is coming. We were kind of sold that the Lions, Dan and Brad, are building a culture. And a culture kind of means a little bit more pro player than it is just cutthroat. And look, we all know the NFL is a business. The Lions are within their rights to do things. First and foremost, they should have just simply cut Taylor Decker. Because first of all, look at the Taylor Decker story as a whole. Okay, Taylor Decker was embarrassed by the Lions. He did not believe, and I probably should have just asked him publicly. Like everyone is talking about, like, hey, you should, if you come back, would you take a pay cut? But he comes out and he talks to the team on February 23rd. He makes a beautiful graphic. I'm coming back, and then nothing else is said to him, and all this stuff is being talked to his agent. Clearly, the Lions conveyed a message to a representative of his and said, hey, if he's going to come back, it's going to be this number. And I think they took more of a hard-nosed stance. And Taylor was like, I'm dumbfounded, and took his business side and said no. And then you force him then to make another graphic and you embarrass the player. So what does the player do? It is not common, guys, not with the Lions lately in the last 5 years, for a player to invite a media member into the house and be like, here, let me spend some time over the next couple hours trashing the Lions. So that is a disaster on the Lions' part. It's a public relations disaster. And guess what? It's all avoidable. You meet with him at the exit meeting and you say, if you want to return, no problem. Here's the number. And the announcement should have never happened that he was coming back. And second of all, it takes 40 seconds to text someone. And I do think that once Taylor put out the release, I think the team got upset with his actions and they did not contact him. So you can see the timeline of how things went. Once Taylor Decker put out that statement, the Lions were like, sayonara. But that's not how you handle business. Taylor Decker is an original guy. He's a guy that was obviously drafted with a different regime, but he bought in. He actually stood up for Hank Fraley and offered a positive review for Dan Campbell. So all it takes is a simple, hey, man, sorry, it went down like that. It's business. It's 40 seconds of your time. You don't have 40 seconds for Taylor Decker. That's rude and obnoxious. And really, in the end, it's just it sends the message. We all get it. Behind the curtains, that's what I've talked about on this show for 3 years. I am that way. If once you hit, I've told you guys directly, once you hit 30, I act like Brad Holmes, but I am a little bit nice about it. I'd sit there and be like, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. Bye. That's it, you know, and I would talk to the agent and the player. It's not that difficult. It's 40 seconds. I know Dan's like, well, I'm going to spend all my time on the team. You have, you know, you have 40 seconds to shoot a message to a player. Hey, this is what's happened. We're going in a different, even if the message is cold, we're going in a different direction, period. So that it was handled brutally. And it kind of lends to the realistic message. That's why I veered away from the slappy side of, oh, the team is so loving. Listen, the NFL is a ruthless business. It's a winning business where they tell you they love you one moment and 20 minutes later, your replacement is in the building testing. That's the name of the game. It's a byproduct of the nature of the game, that it's always about churning and looking for younger, faster, cheaper. And I get it. But with the Lions, you sold us that is this the culture we want? The Lions fans, some Lions fans are such slappies that the Lions could change their culture and be like, great. They could change it 2-3 times and act hypocritical. And some slappies would just be like, it's great. So in the end, right is right, wrong is wrong. If you sold me that this is a new culture, then your actions don't align with that. Shoot the man a message and don't ever again. And I'm going to ask, I hope the new president that they hire is standing in front of the media, because my question, I'm going to just tell it out there to the whole world. My question is going to be, dear Mr. and Mrs. President, are you going to have the same practice for players that abruptly retire? Are you going to continue this practice of taking their signing bonus back? That's going to be my only question, because it's a terrible practice. And the slappies are like acting like, oh, all NFL teams do it. No, they don't. They do not do it. I think I read, and I think it's accurate, it's only happened like 6 or 7 times, and 3 of them have been from the Lions. So it's not a common practice. The whole NFL world is like laughing at you. And then to put a button on it, this practice, and I'm speculating here, is probably why Carlton Davis looked at your contract offer and laughed and went somewhere else. He got a better offer, but I'm certain, because the language that he used in his report when he left the Lions was, I wasn't happy with some of the contract terms. And that would indicate to me it was the amount of guaranteed money, it was the signing bonus money, and the language of, hey, if something happens to you, we're going to take some of it back. Players don't like that. And so this is going to be fixed. This has to be fixed, because my memo is going to be, hey, agents, instead of drinking at the combine, start reworking these deals to say, when my player X signs with the Lions, every single gosh darn penny in the signing bonus is my client's money. Stop signing these stupid deals for your clients where the Lions can take any of it back. A signing bonus means when this beautiful green pen from the doc, which represents all my companies, when this pen signs the paper, I get my $1 million and nobody's touching it. That's a signing bonus. I'm signing my name, pay me my money. So come on, agent, step it up. This is embarrassing all the way around for all involved. I want a signing bonus, pay me my money, and stop acting small as an organization.
Well, Doc, I guess we'll fire it away with some of this stuff from the owners' meeting. I know, Dan, the big one that came out was he talked about Penei Sewell playing left tackle, which, I mean, we talked about plenty on this show, but I guess your thoughts on just the Penei, Larry Borom right tackle setup here going into the draft, and how big of an advantage is it to have a guy like Penei Sewell playing left tackle? Because I've even heard people say that he should not play left tackle. He should play right tackle when he was drafted as a left tackle. So what do you think of Dan kind of confirming that? Or not confirming, but being like, yeah, I'd like to do it. What'd you think of that?
First of all, like I said, I said all week on the Lone Wolves podcast, if you have anybody playing left tackle but Penei Sewell, you first of all direct me to that person that says Penei Sewell should not play left tackle, and I'm going to laugh the person out of the room. It is utterly hilarious. Jared Goff is a statue. Okay, he is a traditional pocket passer. I ain't in the business of getting. Okay, if he was making $25 million, I'd consider it. But if he's making $50 million, I would say protect that man. And the best option is to play Penei Sewell at left tackle. First of all, I don't care if Larry Borom is going to come in here and gravitate and the best free agent signing we ever had. Penei Sewell is your left tackle. If not, then this regime is more incompetent than we are starting to think. So absolutely not. It's simple as that. Just think about it from the perspective of the talent that Penei Sewell has. The head coach is like, Penei Sewell could switch over to the left tackle in 2 or 3 practices. So it's Jared Goff's blind side. I don't want a rookie doing that. I don't want him at that position. I don't want Larry Borom at the left tackle spot. I don't want could you imagine the first day of training camp and Jared Goff's under center and you got Giovanni Manu at left tackle, there is only one thing you can do is laugh. And listen, there's going to be just a small handful of people that are just like whatever the Lions think is the best decision. No, we can all agree universally as the Lions nation that the Lions' one prize should have left tackle be Penei Sewell. And let's put an end to any discussion about it. It's the best option by a million miles for the 2026 season.
Hey,
by
Doc,
a million miles.
What was that?
I said by a million miles, there is nobody better to play left tackle and protect Jared Goff's blind side than Penei Sewell.
He was saying that anyone who says he can't play left tackle might not know what they're talking about. If Penei Sewell cannot play left tackle, if someone said that,
someone send them to me, Doc, if you need to.
Might not know.
That's right. Tell them hey, who's going to defend? Let's put Giovanni Manu at left tackle to learn on the job. Listen, you're one quarterback hit. If Jared Goff rolls his ankle, the season's over. So let's just give the Lions the best chance to win this year, and let's all be smart about it. Like I said, I would be shocked, truly shocked if anybody but Penei Sewell is the left tackle. I would be truly shocked.
Hey, do you want to bring this up, Doc? The Terrion Arnold stuff. Can I just get your thoughts on what's going on with that? Where do you see this going, and what's your confidence level that Terrion Arnold will be playing with the Detroit Lions this year, and this whole situation going on? We obviously heard the comments about that Dan made in regards to it, and Rod Wood. What are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Yeah, look, it's interesting because my natural brain looks at it and says, okay. Well, currently, there's going to be a handful of reporters still following this. So it's tough because this is how I think. And others could be thinking about it differently because I know a lot of the fans are like, every step of the way, it's over. Then the lawyer puts a statement out, it's over. Dan Campbell speaks, and then they say it's over. I don't know if they even want to think critically about it, but all I can do is share my opinion. Okay? First of all, you never want to see your name in a court order that's been written by a judge. Okay. And remember, there are two sides to all of this. The defense attorney is doing his defense attorney job, which is, I believe my client is innocent, and he's always going to be innocent until the checks stop coming into my office. Terrion's innocent, according to the defense attorney. I get it. That's the nature of the idea of innocent until proven guilty. Okay. So step one, people are digging into the idea of, first of all, this television report that came out from Florida says, okay, Terrion was in the vehicle and allegedly was hearing this or was part of it. So Terrion has to answer for that. Now, the part that gets me is, okay, these text messages. So we all know the defense side. We can put that aside. The defense side is my client is innocent. Okay. Does anybody even think about the prosecution side? What are they asking? What are they looking into? There is still an ongoing investigation. And first and foremost, I hope that Terrion is cleared and this ends. But my mind goes to, okay, if Terrion is in any messages with these people and there's a text message with a defendant using the name Terrion, who's Terrion? What's this about? So to me, I look at it like the best way I'm going to put it is it's a fluid situation. I'm not going to rest easy as a Lions fan until the case is over with these 6 people. Now, 2 of the individuals have acknowledged their role in this. Okay. Now, I watch a lot of movies and I probably watch a lot of these type of things. Does nobody in the fan base entertain the idea of one of these people saying 1 out of 6? You're hoping for a clean sweep that all 6 will take the heat, and that would be potentially great. But not one of these people, if Terrion was allegedly involved in this, not one of these people to say, and whether it's true or not, just, hey, if I'm going to go to jail for 30 years and has anybody heard of the word plea deal? And they come up to you and they say, hey, all right, tell us the truth. What the heck happened? Tell us what's the deal. potentially there is and hopefully it doesn't happen. I'm not rooting for this, but one of these people could say, hey, this is what happened. Here is who planned it. And I hope if someone takes a plea deal, I hope the name that they say is not Terrion Arnold. That's my fingers crossed. But you have to be open to the idea that could happen. So that's why when I see online, everyone's like, well, case closed. No, I would expect, if it goes bad, one or two more stories regarding this. You hope that nothing happens, but you just don't want to see, Terrion's name in anything involved with this, text messages. You don't want this to happen. And then, of course, I never thought in a million years this would happen. At the league meeting, the commissioner has now been made aware. Mr. Commissioner, what do you think about Terrion Arnold? He's like, we'll let the facts dictate it. So you don't want, and they need a far less burden of proof to suspend him than the court than a legal court. So listen, I hope, again, these are all allegations. And at this point in time, we always got to say it here on your show. Nothing has happened. He has not been charged with anything, but I am not sleeping easy myself until 1, the investigation is closed, and 2, the defendants have their case. They talk, they do their thing, they have their day in court, and nothing else happens with Terrion Arnold. But guys, please, and I'm hoping it's only a 5% chance, but there is room for the door to be open that there's more to this. Please don't just be naive and listen to a handful of slaps that just go, I cannot believe this prism that some people operate under, where they go, Dan Campbell told me I'm good, so I'm good. Guys, I mean, I could do Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's session and tell you what he would have said. He would have said, we're monitoring this situation. We hope nothing happens. And we hope that, what the player said is true. So it's an ongoing situation. It's fluid, but let's all hope, as if we can agree on something, that this does end. And the one thing that's going to be fascinating is how Terrion gets questioned about this by the media when he talks next.
Doc, I guess we didn't get to bring up Rod Wood's comments about the edge market and how he said basically that they weren't going to be in the market for some of these top edges in terms of top of the market, meaning top of free agents. Not that these guys are going to make a bunch of money, but Cam Jordan's, Joey Bosa's, you talked about it with Dave Burkett. What was your kind of reaction to that? I know we were covering the free agency and looking at Cam Jordan or Joey Bosa, but what'd you think of Rod kind of shutting all that down? And now you see their approach, so it makes sense. What do you think?
Yeah. Again, and let's put it into context. Obviously, the Lions understand what free agency looks like, and they made their decision. So let's just back up a little bit and help people put this in perspective. The Lions definitely made calls about Max Crosby, as did 3/4 of the league. Nobody reported that the Lions made any offers. They inquired. Okay. There were a lot of roadblocks. Obviously, the TA situation. Obviously, the fact is the Lions have the money. Okay. Rod Wood clearly said it specifically. His line in the statement was the more infuriating line is not that we were never in the market. The line that's, when you read deeper into it, the Lions are choosing. The question was posed to Rod Wood. Okay, Wood, looking at Gibbs, Campbell, Branch differently, puts you in a different spot. He said, in one statement, he said, yeah, if you sign some of these high-end guys, who are you going to let go? So one, the Lions are clearly choosing their own. Okay. And the Lions are up against the cap based on their amount of spending that you need to have. So the roadblocks are the cap. Listen, in the nature of the NFL, okay, and I think people, when they hear these things, they just get a little confused. The Lions could have easily afforded Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, but it then in the future years is going to potentially hinder your ability to sign your own guys and other free agents. But no one in Detroit gives a shit. They want to do that. And so the thesis is that the Lions are prioritizing the money in the bank, the cash reserves for guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta. That's a lot of money. It's not chump change. Okay. And so it literally is nothing new. It is a choice. It is not a necessity. So when Brad Holmes says we're operating under some constraints, it means based on their budget plan, this is how they're going to operate. But they could have went in a different way. Yes, it would put you in a riskier boat with the salary cap. But in the end, you're a better team with one of the premier defensive ends. It doesn't have to be Max Crosby. It could have been Trey Hendrickson. It could have been somebody else. But yes, the Lions are operating within the realm of their financial budget. Okay. And the best way to describe it to your chat is, hey, you're a husband and wife and your income is $100,000. You set your monthly budget. It's $3,600. You obviously would like to operate within that parameter of only going and spending $3,600. But, Booner and Heffy are going to Vegas and they want to go to the club and they want to go to the hottest club out there. And you go out there with them and they got their lady friends with them and they're hanging out and they're ordering bottle service. And you're like, shit, these drinks are $50 a pop and Booner's throwing them back. And you're like, shit, I just spent $3,600 in one night. What are you going to do? It's on the credit card. It's there. You got to pay it eventually. So the Lions are not prioritizing the night at the club. They're prioritizing the strict budget which they're operating on. And so, listen, again, and people have misunderstood my report and misunderstood everything. The Lions, and I think Brad Holmes clearly, if he didn't operate within the parameters of the budget, would make these moves. But obviously, who else is talking in the matter? It wasn't Brad Holmes saying, hey, we are never going to make a high-end splash. It's like, hey, we think that this is the best plan to sustain success. It's a plan, and I respect it. I don't agree with it. I'm that type. Let's go. Spend the $3,600. You only live effing once. I want to hang out with Booner, take some videos, hang out, do some things, party. We'll figure it out later. And I truly believe, and my humble opinion is, if they took a different stance and gambled a little bit, higher end talent, less money to your own guys, I feel like you could have took a swing more realistically in 26 to have a chance. And to me, it's all your philosophy. I would rather take a swing than do this, because this is looking like it's going to be a tease, and it's leaning more toward being the Steelers than it is toward being the Rams. And that's what's disappointing. That's what's causing the angst, is that a lot of slappies are like, I believe in Brad. Well, the last 2 years have put a dent in most people's belief, because that plan of draft develop resulted in a regression realistically. So to me, take a swing. Okay, you take a swing and you lose the next 2 years. What's the difference? It's the same starting spot as you were last year. You didn't make the playoffs. So to me, take the swing and go, okay, now we got to work. Now we got to target every money that we spend on a 2 or 3 year free agent has to be someone that can contribute and get us over the hump. With the talent that you have, I feel like they could have did it if they were willing to do it. The money's there, guys. The money's there. But they're choosing to give it to Gibbs, Campbell, Branch, and Laporta. I would not. I would act like how they treated Decker and Ragnow, and I would say, sorry, guys, some of you guys are going to do the 5th-year option. Some of you guys were going to get let go. We're going to trade one of you. I like some of the rhetoric I'm hearing where people are like, let's consider trading Laporta for a draft pick. I like that rhetoric. I think that if you can get some capital, younger, and someone super talented, maybe even at the same position, now that's not dealing with a back injury, I'll go with it. But you have to entertain it. Some slappies won't entertain shit. They just want whatever the Brad says is great. We entertain everything. And I want to entertain the idea of, and I almost wrote it, but it's too crazy to even think about it. I would entertain trading Jahmyr Gibbs as a conversation, not as a realistic approach. But if someone gave me a couple firsts for Jahmyr Gibbs, I'd do it. I'd think about it seriously and say, you know what? I don't have to give him $25 million a year, and I can get someone younger this year and focus some of these picks on some offensive line. You can get let's say Jahmyr Gibbs is an A+ player. You can probably get production out of a running back at a B- level if you have an amazing offensive line. So I'm open to entertain all these ideas, but the Lions are committed, and I think they're going to go down with the ship with this plan, but they're committed to paying their own guys. And it might be the result that causes Brad and Dan to not have the success. I think that they need to be a little bit more shrewd in their ability to maneuver the cap. But they have the money. They're choosing to be responsible to take more cracks at the apple. I'm taking one big crack, and we'll figure the F out later.
Yeah, Doc, I think you bring up some good points there. I do want to ask real quickly, I think a big question or a storyline this offseason is this Lions secondary with Kirby and Brian Branch. Two-part question. One, what is there, after kind of hearing Dan and these guys speak over the last week or so, and Brad, what's your confidence level in the Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, injuries and getting back? But then also, like, how are you feeling about some of these ads that they've had? Just this week, Chuck Clark gets added to the roster. You've seen Roger McCreary, Christian Izian, and you've seen a handful of guys get added to the secondary. Where are you at with that in that safety room, as well as kind of that nickel spot as well?
Chuck Clark, Doc.
Chuck Clark. Man.
He caused, according to some, the reason why the Steelers beat the Lions. So that was good. Very good commentary. Look, let's look at Oh yeah, good commentary, man. Great commentary. Chuck Clark single-handedly handled business. I'm sorry, you asked about the new additions. I heard that, and that registered. You asked about Kirby and
Brian. Essentially, just the secondary, the additions to the secondary, confidence level in Kirby and Brian, and kind of these other guys that are filling in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. I pay attention to Thomas Harper. I liked what he was able to do. I like Izian. I think that the starters, you got a lot of hope that potentially that the defense can, as a core unit, make some plays and do some things and develop if they stay healthy. The additions are fine, role players. And I just like I said, I got distracted a little bit because nobody wants to entertain the idea of trading Gibbs. Well, the Super Bowl winners just let go of the MVP of the Super Bowl, Kenneth Walker. And it happens. And the Chiefs have, moved on from an all-pro defensive back. You have to kind of understand that there is an aspect of the cap that you can maneuver if you want to allocate what you think is the best. And I think that the Lions had Gibbs. They didn't win yet nothing with him. So I'm looking at, let's build an extremely talented offensive and defensive line and see what happens. But I look at the defense as a whole. The starters I'm okay with. I could roll with, Tyleik Williams, Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, and you have Wonham and Peyton Turner and Ahmed in a rotation. You get another draft pick figured out. You figure out the other position. You got to hope that Terrion, DJ Reed, and McCreary and Ennis Rakestraw, you hope that those guys take a step a little bit and perform a little better than they did last year. The question mark is going to be if Malcolm Rodriguez is your starting will, can he handle the role? It's going to be interesting to see if there is a competition there, if they add another linebacker to compete. Safeties, I think Izian can handle the role. Clark can also be the vet. I would have preferred Avonte Maddox, but I feel like Clark makes plays and he does things that I think the Lions would definitely like in terms of being a nice depth piece. Key is I'm hoping that Kirby Joseph is going to be a wild card. If he's back anywhere close to the ball hawk, it gives you a little bit more confidence. But now the question mark is going to be all behind that. Who's going to be the defensive tackle depth? Miles Adams? Who's your safety? Who's your linebacker depth? Trevor Nowaski, Clark. Okay, it's interesting. But I would say that the depth on defense is where this draft has to be nailed by Brad Holmes. And maybe, which was interesting that Rod Wood said that. I don't know if he was supposed to reveal that or not supposed to reveal that, because all the team source told me when I asked was it was personal. So we'll see what comes of that. But in the end, that Brad Holmes is committed to the draft, and that's something that should be a supreme priority because he has to nail it. He's got to get at least 3-4 realistic competitors to be able to potentially start in this draft. So I'm okay with it. I'm not thrilled. I would have liked it to look a little different, but in the end, you got some good role players that can fill out the roster. But man, would it have been great to have a healthy Brian Branch and a healthy Kirby Joseph going into this year? And man, and it would be great to have another bona fide stud opposite of Aiden going into the year, but you're just hoping for key contributions from guys and some development. So I do have the feeling it's just the defense is not the main priority. It's, hey, can we get an offense that shines and operates at full capacity? And let's hope the defense makes a couple turnovers late to give the offense a chance. That's how the defense kind of looks, is like bend, don't break, hope and pray a little bit and make a couple plays and hope the offense is just on point at a Super Bowl caliber level. That's kind of how Brad operates. It feels like he loves the commitments he makes to offense. The weapons are so much better. I mean, guys, isn't it clear? The offense is so much better than the defense that you hope that they can do their job and hold on just enough to help the offense when crunch time hits.
Yeah, I mean, and then you hear Brad say that, when we interviewed him, that he has confidence that this defense could be top, 5 or a really good defense, and that's led by Kelvin Shepherd, which, he has some question marks, but Dan spoke about Kelvin and talked about how they have flexibility on defense. And Dan, I'll say this, Brad was, he was backing Kelvin Shepherd in the interview, but Dan's been really backing Kelvin Shepherd this entire offseason. What did you think of Dan's comments, kind of backing Kelvin? Maybe because, and this is what I wanted to ask you too, Doc, because Dan talked a lot about flexibility on defense. They can run different schemes and, be versatile. You got a chance to speak to Kelvin Shepherd. Am I wrong? He didn't sound like he was too flexible with his scheme. I don't know. Where's the message being lost in translation? Are we going to be a flexible scheme or are we Kelvin's scheme? What are we doing?
Right. No, it's a great question. I mean, he's always said he's not going to be really forthcoming with his scheme type stuff. They want to be able to match wits and do a little bit of everything, but they have a core foundation. So, and again, I just want to address the chat because I did light him up with the whole Gibbs thing. Guys, I don't want to trade Gibbs. It's the business of the NFL. And look at it just from a very I know you guys get attached to your Gibbs jersey and all that fun stuff, but you had Gibbs on the team last year and your offensive line was terrible and it rendered Gibbs mute. So to me, I would say you can get a lesser version of Jahmyr Gibbs and have an elite offensive line with a lot of depth and an elite defensive line. And give and take, I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is great, but he's a luxury. There's running backs you can find to do similar things. You don't have to lock in on one guy to do the job. You can find it. It's there. You can do a lot of different things in this National Football League, especially at the price of $25 million a year, potentially. If Jahmyr Gibbs was playing on this contract forever, you keep him. But that's the nature of the business, is that now seeing what I've seen the last 2 years, I'm taking all that offensive luxury toy money that you've given, and I'm going to give some of it to the defense because Mr. Kelvin Shepherd needs it, because you got a press man corner that's not doing the best. And your general manager brought in DJ Reed, who is good, but maybe not giving you the value of the contract that you're expecting him to deliver. So I'm sorry. It's a give and take, and the offense has a lot, and I'm giving some to the defense, and that's just the way it is, because defense wins championships. And guess what offense does? Offense gets your heart broken like they did for the Lions the last 2 years. So that's just me. I could be wrong, but yeah, that the Lions are going to pay Gibbs, and I'm just praying the number is reasonable. Come on, Jahmyr, take a hometown discount. Tell them to give some of your money to the offensive line. Tell them, don't break the bank. Don't break the bank on the Lions. Otherwise, it'll be Jahmyr and a defense that is atrocious. With Kelvin Shepherd, I think that clearly the league has kind of moved to a little bit more zone coverages, more nickel coverages. You saw what Seattle was able to do, and Kelvin was just blunt. He's like, yeah, if you give me so Brad Holmes, can you give Kelvin a Nick Emenwari so that he can play a little bit more zone? The Lions believe in disrupting opposing wideouts. They want to play press man. It's just their philosophy, but they do need to play a little bit more nickel coverage. They need to play with 5 defensive backs and be able to do some things, but it's not that easy to just do it. You got to practice it. Zone coverage can be easily defeated through a lot of routes that these great offensive coordinators, there's a lot of zone busters out there, and it's a tough thing to do. So the Lions want to play man-to-man, but the way in which the Lions always describe it and the way in which I see it is they will look at a team, and the Lions as a whole, if you take a 360-degree look, they don't want to be like, hey, we're stuck to play man. If we know that zone coverage will help against this one opponent, then we got to be able to execute it. But they have their foundational core principles, but they do have to get better at being able to be a little bit more adept at being flexible. And the biggest thing, and yes, it's a scheme question, but I think in year 2, the thing that you guys will lock in on and I'll lock in on is how quickly does Kelvin Shepherd adapt in the second half when he starts seeing what the trends are early in games? Because I don't think the Lions were that good in terms of adapting to what opponents were doing. And I kind of feel like they took steps backwards, where it felt like the teams got better out of halftime were the opponents and not the Lions on both sides of the ball. So I just hope that Kelvin Shepherd, and speaking to him, look, very bright, and it's a league that is tailored to the offense. It's not that easy, easier said than done, to be elite defensively. But here's what they want to do, and these are the tenets. They want to stop the run. They want to find guys that set the edge, keep things contained, and they'll give up as many million yards as possible, but they want to make sure that when it's time and it's crunch time and it's in the red zone, that they clamp down, make plays, give up field goals, not touchdowns, and just get 1 or 2 extra possessions to the offense, and you can win games 35-27, 35-20. I don't think that they're expecting to be the 85 Bears. I think they're expecting to just manage it, do what you need to do, and figure it out on defense with what you have. And I don't even think that they really care about sack numbers. They care about pressures and they care about disruption. But here's the problem. The puzzle doesn't all fit right. If your defensive line doesn't get pressure consistently, which they want to do, then you're leaving your secondary out to dry and you can't play man-to-man for 8 seconds. So when you don't have lockdown corners, then it makes things harder for the defensive line because they have to win. Well, these offensive linemen are getting pretty talented. And obviously the plan has always been to, hey, let's chip and frustrate Aiden and let's let the other guys do things. Well, your interior is not good enough to get pressure. So guess what happens? Dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. Teams like the Steelers and the Packers and the Bears were able to move the football on you. So you just got to be a little bit more adept at getting to the quarterback with speed and efficiency, and pick and choose when you're able to get pressure. But I just think that, man, you really, really need this year. You need the defensive line to step up, and you need that secondary. You need Terry and Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw to deliver. If they don't deliver, you're facing an uphill battle all year long. It's just no way around it. You need the guys on the team. You need like Dan Campbell said, I'll say the same thing. You need that core on defense to step it up. Aiden's got to step it up and not go 3-4 games in the middle of the year without sacks. That's what happened, guys. He got sacks in bunches, but there was a nice little lull in the chunk of the season that was important where they were going win-loss, where he went sackless. So you need more from Aiden. You need more from Jack Campbell. You need more from your leaders, and definitely 2 key members, Ty Leak and Terry and Arnold, the T's. You need your TTs to get after it. And if they don't, your defense is going to be sunk.
Hey, I just want to flip sides of the ball real quick, Doc. I just want to talk about the Drew Petzing stuff.
Real fast, your question. I still think, I think Ennis, as a second-round pick, you would hope he's a little bit better than McCreary, in my opinion. I think McCreary was brought in to push Ennis Rakestraw. I would think that at this point in time, maybe today, McCreary's better. But if McCreary is your slot as opposed to Ennis, I'm a little uneasy, in my opinion.
Yeah, so again, Doc, just real quick, switching to the offensive side, Dan talked about Drew Petzing. I want to get your thoughts on what Dan said. Dan obviously talked about and said, like, he's way more adaptable. It seems like, I don't want to say he's taking shots at John Morton, but you could definitely tell there was a different tone used this year with the offensive coordinator than there was last year. Are you more confident now going into this offseason and this training camp with Drew Petzing? Kind of handling what's going on with this offense, and hearing Dan Campbell speak as highly as he did this last week in regards to Drew Petzing, being like, he adapts. If I don't like something, he switches. Like it's like where last year, like John Morton was like, I want to do it my way a little bit. Like, yeah, we'll do the same stuff, but I want to put my stuff in there. Where Dan was like, Drew's like doing everything we want. Do you feel a little bit more confidence than you did probably 12 months ago when they were trying to replace Ben Johnson?
Yeah, no, to me, like I've said to you guys, to me, the ability to work well in meetings is always favorable. Clearly, the way you communicate, the way you adapt things. First of all, Morton, I would clearly think that the team kind of understood the way in which he communicated. It was similar to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson yells and has those kind of things. I think where Morton struggled was the ability to call plays effectively to get everybody involved, to be able to scheme guys open. So the communication, yes, I think broke down, and when they didn't have results. And I think when you guys heard John Morton go up to the podium and be like, well, I called good plays. These guys are not running it right. That you can't, I mean, we all saw that, but you never in a million years can say that publicly, because what was the message that Dan Campbell does? Dan Campbell is always like, it starts with me. I got to do better. And then he'll start complaining. John Morton was like, I feel like I'm calling a good game. And these guys got to, it's always one guy here and one guy there. And I think that fractured the locker room a little bit, because then they came back and were like, well, we don't really think our scheme is all that exotic and all that different, all that adaptable. I think where Drew Petzing comes in is that he understands, okay, we can do a lot of different things and give a lot of different answers. And I think John Morton, you can clearly say, was a little more rigid in his philosophies about passing. And he said, I love the deep pass, and then stop deep passing, and I think Drew Petzing, where what Dan said that was interesting was, he's getting tested, like a lot of daily ideas of like, hey, we're thinking about bringing in this guy, maybe even with Tyler Conklin. Hey, we want to do this with this. What do you think about this? And Tyler's like, well, I want to try to do this. And he's like, no, we want to do this. And Tyler's like, sure, no. And Drew Petzing's like, yeah, no problem. We can adapt it and keep it moving and keep it positive and keep it energetic. And he has the answers already. And so I think that's where when you have a younger guy, the younger guy can pivot faster and can give you the ideas he's looking for. And I think that's what Dan's looking for is, hey, I have this vision and follow it. But yeah, you can do stuff, but keep me posted, but within the parameters of some limits and boundaries. Like, you can't go rogue and throw the ball 50 times in a row if you want to. So I think that the working relationship is going to be fine. Those are great things to have. But in the end, as a coordinator, your biggest job is on Sunday, when you start to see, okay, you're seeing some A-gap blitzes, how do you go away from that quickly? You don't keep, shoot, if Cade Mays is struggling a little bit against the run, let's not go up the middle over and over again, where I think John Morton got into the habit of getting a little stubborn, in my opinion, where it was clear in certain games that the runs with Graham Glasgow shouldn't be called anymore. He kept calling them, and he got his job yanked. I think that in football, adaptability and in-game adjustments quickly will keep Drew Petzing around. I think he'll be able to do it because of his expertise, and he's got better talent on offense. I think John Morton was a little bit more willing to bang his head on the wall and try the same stuff that wouldn't work over and over and over again. And also, what happened was, really in the end with John Morton, his scheme overall and his pass combination, his setups were not efficient enough to beat out experienced defensive coordinators who figured him out within a second because of all, like, guys, the NFL is a beautiful game of chess. That's why you love to follow it. It's a game of, I know that you know that I know that I do this. So what happens if I throw a wrinkle in a screen? Instead of running a screen right, what if I send Jahmyr Gibbs in the middle through the flat instead of out right? You all think I'm going to go to the right. What if I have Jahmyr Gibbs go through the flat through the A-gap? What happens? Oh, little different spice. It's the ability to how quickly can you outmaneuver a smart defensive coordinator. And it's beautiful to see. And I would think that Drew Petzing is going to have a wonderful opportunity to win some chess matches. Felt like every week with John Morton, it was checkmate, Lions lose every single week. And it started in game one. Game one, checkmate. Doc's like, damn, can you run the board the way you did last year? Dan's like, I will never, ever talk pre-snap motion with John Maakaron ever again. I don't care. He's like, we're never going to talk pre-snap motion with Mr. Maakaron ever again.
Yeah. You were, you were in there. You were harping on that offense, Doc. You were early. You were saying, hey,
it was because the schedule comes out in May, Jeff. So you had June, July, you had 4 months to plan for one team. And you looked brutally bad, and you were outmatched. That's a coaching thing. That's a philosophical thing. That's a preparedness thing. That's bad. The first game, you should be on your P's and Q's, and it's also an opponent you know. So when it looks that bad, and also, too, I think that was the first game, right, where the 2 linemen went to the same spot. That is horrible coaching, and I don't think Dan was in the mood to talk about coaching after 60 minutes of action.
Well, I wanted to ask, I'm sure you mentioned earlier about the whole Gibbs thing, but and I don't know if you mentioned this already, but NFL.com had a proposed draft trade with Sam Laporta, moving up 10 spots, 17-7, trading Sam Laporta. I mean, could you see the Lions making a move like that? I don't see it's just like teams move players and it's like shocking and it's all over social media. I just don't think the Lions, maybe they'll try and trade up, Doc. I don't know what you think about that in the first round, but I don't know if the Lions will ever, at least from what Brad's and Dan has indicated, that they're going to move one of these players that they want to extend. Is that a fair? No. Assuming they didn't restructure other deals, it looks like they want to get all these deals done. But did you see the Sam Laporta? Would you make that trade, Sam Laporta, for 10, move up 10 spots, and you get like a 3rd round pick? I think it is.
Right. And here's the factor too. We have to play this game. If Sam Laporta was healthy, fully healthy, not having a back surgery, hell no. I think that you could use him as a weapon and get more out of him. Okay. Now, knowing that there's a back situation in the mix and knowing that the Lions can be ruthless, do they say, you know what? And I want to use a better word. I'm going to think on the fly here because I'm not going to call them D goods. I'm going to call them something else. When you have a player with a certain liability that could flare up at any time, you have to entertain it. Okay, listen, it's and also too, philosophically, I don't want Sam Laporta blocking every single time like that. You're asking him to block these big, massive defensive ends. It's going to be tough. That's Tyler Conklin's job. Unfortunately, sorry, that's Brock Wright's job. Laporta, you go out and you get all the touchdowns, and you are more of our passing guy. But I get it. It's a philosophical thing that the Lions do. They want to be rugged, and they need 12 and 13 personnel. They need to block for Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs. So I look at it differently. I would say a healthy Laporta, he's on the team. A semi-injured Laporta coming off of a back thing. Look, if he gets traded, it's not talent. That there was maybe a little bit of concern, a little bit of trepidation that they don't want to pay the money for somebody with a back. The back is tricky. So I think the odds are, though, very slim that he does get traded, but it's a healthy conversation to have. And so to me, and the doc will always deliver it this way, I'm open to trade anybody for the right price and the right value. Sure. If you can allocate some funds, somewhere else and figure it out. So the mistakes in my part, when you look at it globally, is you maybe wanted to wait a little bit on Aleem McNeil. Maybe you wanted to wait a little bit on JMO. Maybe you wouldn't trade draft capital for, Isaac Tesla. You would have those picks be used for defense. And you realize, okay, you could have used some of those positions to start to draft some of the replacements that you need. Maybe you would have already had Alex Anzalone replacement on the roster, maybe a little bit better than Malcolm Rodriguez. So it's a finite way. And listen, these are all nitpicky details, but those are the fine details that determine if you have 2 bad years in a row in your rebuild. Remember, the Lions didn't have just 1 bad year. They had 2 bad years. How many playoff wins they have in 24? They were supposed to just whoop the Commanders' ass. They got embarrassed. That's a horrible year. 25, they don't even make the playoffs. So a nice 2-year playoff drought where you don't win any games is not part of a rebuilding plan. And you have to ask those reasons why. So I look at it from the perspective of any player, I take the call. There's no untouchables in regards to roster building. Obviously, the ones that you give big money to, that's who you've committed to. But that back injury is going to be a factor. But I would think you want to at least see what Drew Petzing can do because he made, Trey McBride have a career year. And so I want to see that hopefully. And I think too, I would have had to have thought that Campbell couldn't have been happy with how Morton used Sam Laporta. I think Laporta can be a nice weapon for Jared Goff used a little bit more. So if you're asking me, I would entertain it. I wouldn't do it hoping and praying that in 26 his back stays healthy and doesn't just flare up in December. And I do want to bring something up that was talked about. And it was talked about by Rod Wood. I'm a little bit nervous about November. I'm nervous because it was revealed by Rod Wood in his talk. The Lions are not expecting a bye week in their opportunity to go to Germany. So you're telling me they're going to go to Germany potentially in early November, fly back on a Monday, Tuesday, then play another game on Sunday right away, and then play potentially, hopefully it's early in November, and then have a situation where you have 4-day rest. That November stretch, whatever that schedule look like, is going to be one of the first things I look at because you might have an exhausted football team. And I would say, me personally, if you guys care, if there was a bye week, I would have been more prone to go because then you can hang out in the town a little bit more. But if you're expecting me to cover the NFL, cover an NFL game and how much it taxes you, and then get back in town on a Monday to then get back to covering the team on a Wednesday for a Sunday game, oh, hell no. I'm saving the money. I'm not going to Germany. Not under those parameters. Listen, I'm old, and I need those extra days off just like the team does. But with the football team in November, the way the schedule is, I'm glad Rod Wood asked and said, hey, we don't want to do Thanksgiving Thursday followed by the next Thursday. Hopefully they get a couple extended time off. But I'm not happy that the Lions are not going to get a bye week after. And heaven forbid, it could happen. I don't think it will. But there's a chance the Lions stay back-to-back and play 2 international games. I hope that don't happen for the reporters, because that racks up your budget for a lot of money for these struggling newspapers. So I hope that it's just one trip. And I would think, I'm curious to see if the papers are going to send two guys overseas, because it's not cheap. So I'm looking at it from my perspective in terms of value. I want to go to Germany, but I would have loved the extra days off. But I'm concerned what that November schedule looks like. Did you guys hear today too, the whispers? The Packers want the Lions in Germany. The Packers executive was like, bring on the Lions, baby. We want the Lions in Germany. And I'm fascinated to see if the Lions home game against the Packers is the game that they feature in Germany this year in Munich.
I could be wrong. Didn't the Lions protect certain games? And I think the Packers were on one of those. Was part of the protection for.
I know there were 2 teams protected. I don't know if the Packers were one of them, but
I think it was the Packers and Vikings were the 2 teams I think I heard that they protected. I could be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure Rod Wood had said that when he spoke with Dave Burkett. I think he mentioned, again, don't fully quote me on this, but I believe he said that they protected the Packers and the Vikings, which in my opinion, it should have been Packers Bears, but either one, it's your 2 NFC North opponents, I think is fair. Just want to pivot real quick, Doc, just to the Tigers. I just want to get your thoughts on, obviously they just got swept by the Diamondbacks and kind of an ugly series. I said earlier in the show that they had 27 total innings in the 3 games there, and they only scored in 2 of the innings. And obviously they scored, I think it was like 6 and 5, but either way, you score in 2 out of 27 innings and then you get swept. That seems a little bit of a concern offensively for this Tigers team. You're credentialed with the Tigers as well. You'll probably be there, I'm guessing, at some point this weekend with opening day. What are your thoughts on this Tigers team so far? What do they need to improve on? And what are some of those weaknesses that they might have through the first week that they've started here?
Good. Yeah, no, 4-game losing streak, get it out of the way early, right? And I think some of your guys in the chat are saying that, yeah, the division games don't typically happen overseas. I'm just saying, well, I heard it from a report that just said that the executive was talked, and he's like, I want the Lions in Germany. So good. Hopefully it doesn't happen. I don't want that. I want a cupcake. I want an easy win overseas so that the fans can see Amon-Ra score 3-4 touchdowns. I don't want no tough game against an opponent overseas. The Tigers, I hate wasting Scooble days. I mean, you give them no runs. I think I think I read that, in terms of the total innings, the amount of runs that they're scoring in terms of numbers innings, there's a lot of gaps. Like if for example, they've played 54 innings, they've only scored in 4 or 5 innings total, and there's big gaps, and so the offense is a little concerning. When they do hit, it lights up. So I'm not a fan of a 4-game losing streak, no doubt, but clearly it's early. The offense is a little behind, and we were all thrilled with McGonigal. He's making plays, but there's some early learning curves with some of the errors defensively. But man, it was a little bit like a punch in the gut, right? You're excited. I was excited. I was genuinely excited. You kind of suspend disbelief a little bit. Like, all right, JV's going to come back and we're going to have this magical fairy tale outing, and he gets his ass rocked, and that's never fun. But look, I expect that the losing streak will end hopefully on opening day. You get an opportunity for JV to have another start. I think if Scuba went today, you'll have Valdez on Friday, hopefully, and you end the losing streak and you get after it. But it's early in the season. There's some things you obviously like, but obviously, Riley Green's batting average sticks out like a sore thumb. And the positives are the rotation I think I just would like to see Mize move up a little bit and then move JV down. I do think that JV, like a lot of people are saying, might not crack the rotation beyond the midway point of the season. We'll see, but his stuff was hittable. And let's just move on from Arizona because Carroll was eating us alive. It's been fun to watch. The coverage on Detroit Sportsnet has been fair. It's been okay. And what do you know? We talked about it and we said you had to do this, you had to do that. I was on the lucky list that my streaming service has it. So it's been amazing. So nothing extra had to be done. It just showed up. So it's been fun to watch the early Tigers games. Now you just got to win some of these games. You can't have, a sweep in a series against Arizona, but it's going to be fun. I'm invested. I care. And I care just as much about the Pistons as the Tigers. And like everybody else, my interest in the Wings is diminished because they don't represent Detroit. They're soft.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really get to ask you. I know you kind of mentioned it, but dive more into it because I'm curious to see what you think. Kevin McGonigal, I mean, he played last week after we had you on. That kid is incredible. And he's their most consistent bat right now, which is crazy to say. He was robbed of a home run as well through this stretch of games. But what have you kind of thought of the rookie? And just, I guess, I mean, Scott Harris kind of depending on him and I guess all the other bats to step up. Kevin McGonigal kind of checks the box of he's going to be a star. But some of these bats have been inconsistent, like you said, top bats. But what have you thought of Kevin McGonigal so far and just how good he is as a player?
It's nice when the hype matches. And yeah, just checking the internet here, it looks like, yes, the two teams were the Packers and the Vikings. So that's good. They protected those, and that's awesome. The Lions. That was interesting too, though. Just on the side note, a rivalry game. Could they do the Bears? Probably not. I doubt that they would do that to the Lions. So not a division game. Good. So we're starting to limit those numbers down to which teams the Lions will play. So that's good. Maybe a chance to go overseas and win. McGonigal is something where it was nice because, we all remember, at least I do, the Steve Yzerman hype, a young player getting out on the ice, the JV hype to see his rookie season. I remember it vividly, just seeing that, hey, let's put this kid up here and let's see what he was able to do. It was fun. So McGonigal had all the hype, right? Didn't go to AAA. He's your number 1 or 2 prospect in all of baseball. And let's go. He's your stud. And so when he comes out first pitch hitting, you're like, yes, there's something there. And, he got robbed of a home run, but his at-bats are must watch. That's all you can ask for is when talent meets opportunity and the guy delivers, there's going to be some growing pains. Obviously, this is his first go-round with a lot of these pitchers. They will adjust. And in baseball, it's not what you do your first year because we all remember Red Crush, Chris Shelton. He came out a-blazing, and everybody remembers in the chat that remembers Red Crush had a great month. And you never heard about him ever again. And so you just hope that this can be a long-lasting situation where he can have success. And it'll be great to see if he's the next young stud that can be, inserted in that lineup and deliver you hits. It's fun to have superstars. It's marketable. And the more marketable stars you have, it's fun because in the end, I'm excited for the opportunity to see some of these guys that are in the minors come up and do things. Hey, if you're not going to splurge and you're draft and develop, it's nice now. Like, hey, are any of the Wings ever going to come up and be superstars? There's a chance that this guy McGonigal can be a superstar. And that's awesome to be able to look at it.
Well, we'll call it here, Doc. We appreciate the hell out of you. Keep up the great work, my friend. Are you going down? What are you doing Friday? Are you watching the game from home? Are you going downtown? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's fun. Life is always ups and downs, right? So I have a credential for the whole weekend, but let's see if anyone's listening. I got the email today that because of the overwhelming number of people with credentials, not everybody's going to have a seat. So I'm thinking I might be one of those people and they're going to put me in the back. And so that means I sit in a room. I don't want to sit in a room with 50 people. So I got to figure that out. I mean, I'm always pessimistic and be like, okay, they're going to put me out in the back there. So I'll figure out what to do. I'm going to go down there at some way to cover it. Maybe the morning activities, get some audio, get some perspective, maybe talk to somebody, maybe, learn something about something. But if I stay the whole game, I don't think so. But maybe Saturday and Sunday, I'll be in hopefully a seat to have there. But Friday's always open because it's fun. If my wife can get off, maybe we'll also hang out and do some fun stuff. And be down there. I like to be in the vibe. So,
by the way, I saw a little seating chart. Raj put out a seating chart. I saw you on the seating chart, so I think you have a seat. I don't know if you saw. Raj tweeted or he posted on Facebook that
there you go. They have in the past. Oh, let's see. Look at that.
You're about to roll over from Raj and Woodward Sports, and then I see the Detroit Sports Podcast.
Hell yeah!
So you do have a seat. Hey, I'll break the news to you. You know what? Hey, everyone, give him a round of applause to the doc. He's got a seat for opening day. If you don't have it, let me know. I'll take it for you, and I'll go sit.
I'm like Brad Holmes. I'm pessimistic, and look at that. That's the way I've always operated. Because now that you said that, I feel so much better. I've arrived, people. I've arrived. Damn it. Let's go. See you next week, homies.
There you go.
Thanks,
the DOC.
That is so funny. He had no clue. And I was just on Facebook today. Shout out Raj, dude. I saw him post today some seating charts because he posted that they got it. They were, officially.
Shout out Raj, man.
Credentialed. And I saw a Detroit Sports Podcast. I saw 97.1, the doc. I saw everyone on there. So.
Yeah, Raj deserves it. He deserves everything. I mean, so does Doc, but Raj has just been grinding. He's happy. He's a great team.
He has full season credentials.
He deserves
that's awesome, dude. That's and I don't think people realize, especially for someone that built from the ground up. That's cool, man.
Yeah. One of the smartest dudes I know when it comes to baseball, just as a whole, not even MLB, just baseball. I mean, talking with Raj, you become smart.
We should get him on tomorrow. I don't know if he's busy, but the day before opening day, we should get Raj on, man.
Let's do it. Night Owl Mailbag. Do you guys know of any sites that are tracking the Lions 30 pre-draft visits?
I think almost every site. Probably Detroit, the Doc, Lions NSI. There's almost trackers on every Lions website that covers the team.
Yeah, Night Owl, you could probably type that right into Google. And there's going to be a ton of sites covering it. I know the Doc definitely does it. So you could use him. But yeah, there's a lot of sites doing it.
Can we confirm with Spencer? Spencer, can we confirm you guys are closed Friday? Or are you guys open by chance?
They're closed. It's tough. It's
nice
not even that bad. You look fine.
No, it's not. I mean, the fade's gone. The fresh fade for Friday and the beard trim up would have been, it would have. That's on me, though, because I did say I was going to go Saturday. And to be honest, I did nothing Saturday besides, I just had a nice day off. And I could have just went on Saturday. Just decided not to go. I was just I'm
business decision. It was just a business decision.
Yeah, and then I'm going to look a little scruffy on Friday around the people. So that's all right. I'll try and trim up my beard and everything. Spencer, if I see you next week and half of my beard's gone, you know what happened.
Just show up with a mustache. It'll be all right.
Oh, dude, that would be a disaster though, man. The mustache.
Just line up with a stash. I didn't know the weather doesn't look as bad. That's good news. For those who are going down, by the way, come hang out with us. I mean, you can still buy tickets, I believe. They're still available. We'll be hanging out with it'll be a little crunch time, Woodward Sports, hanging out together down there by the Detroit Opera House. So you can get your tickets online. If you're heading downtown, you don't know what the hell you're gonna do. Why not? Buy tickets. It's the Grand Slam Detroit Festival at the Detroit Opera House. So yeah, get your tickets. Coming out with us. We'll be there pretty much all day. No show Friday, obviously, because we're going to be downtown all day. So
it should be fun. We're probably going to do a lot of content. So if you're downtown, if you find us, we're probably going to have, obviously filming behind the scenes and as well as just different social stuff. So if you want to get in videos, if you find us, there's a chance, you can get on some of the Crunch Time videos. Yeah. Handlebar stash, man. There's no way. It's just not happening. I like the beard. I do like the beard. It kind of changes life a little bit. A beard does. What,
Yeah,
dude?
it
What was
does.
that? What was it?
It
You pushed me to get a beard, and you're like, hey, it's life changing. I was like, all right, I'll do it. It's life changing.
No, it is. It really is. I mean,
It makes you look like 100 times older, which is good. I always was like, got the compliments of, hey, you look really young.
I think there's data, correct me if I'm wrong, that a person with a beard is more trustworthy. Like
I'm trustworthy.
They pulled a bunch of people, and some people with beards are more trustworthy. I don't know how that. I don't know how that works, but
shout out Spence, dude. He said Boone went from a 10 to a 12 with a beard. What a legend, dude. Shout out Spence, man.
Yeah, I remember at first you're like, I can't grow it. I'm like, you got to keep growing it. Got to keep growing it.
You and Spence were the two that were like, just keep pushing, just let this thing grow, and it's worked out pretty well. It actually doesn't. It looks good.
Yeah. You ever see when Adam tries to grow a beard? Shout out Adam Baydoun. Like early on when we were at Woodward.
Yeah,
it was effortless. Like the guy, I think his beard line
it's so high up, it's so
comes up to his cheekbone, dude.
It was just like,
dude, I've never seen a man with hair that can go that high. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's the Lebanese in him, really.
Dude just had a full on.
I mean, it's actually insane.
What were those? What are those? Oh yeah, like he just had a real turtleneck. All the way up to his eye.
It was like almost like it could have been like a shiesty, like one of those shiesty men. Like he had a beard shiesty.
I had a beard shiesty. Oh, dude, that's so funny. He had the first beard to connect to eyebrows and as a full unibrow. He had a full circle on his face. It was just connected all the way around.
Dude, yeah, it was insane. Shout out Adam, dude. Mr. Bounty Hunter says, what are the odds that the Lions don't take a tackle or an edge in the first 2 rounds?
It's there.
You're the
odds are there.
Maker. You're the bookie. I mean, what are we?
No, the odds are there. I'd put that probably at like plus 1,000, but plus 1,000 hits. We've hit plus 1,000 parlays.
I'm putting some money on plus 1,000.
Yeah, we've hit plus 1,000 parlays before.
I might sprinkle on that. If it's plus 1,000,
so?
the Lions don't take a tackle or an edge. I'm sprinkling.
The first 2 rounds, first 2 picks, neither.
Yeah, I'm sprinkling.
Yeah, I would say plus 1,000, and I would take that bet too because there's a chance.
You never can count out a chance that they pass on an edge or a tackle.
No, dude, they went back-to-back corners 2 years ago. Back-to-back corners.
Yeah,
that's just like it's mind-blowing.
What if they take like Ty Simpson? Like it could be like just a complete FU.
I think Ty could end up being top 10. I have a feeling.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky.
I just have. I'm not
the top 10. I mean,
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying I just have a feeling that he's going to end up somehow.
I think the Rams could snatch him at 13 if they want.
Yeah, sneaking his way into like the top end of this draft class. I honestly, I want it to happen. I want him to go before 17 because that drops another player to us at 17, right? Like
I'm with you.
That's how you look at. You have to start looking at it. Like what are some of these players that are outside 17 right now that could sneak in to where one of these top guys could potentially fall an extra spot, whether that's you trading up to get like those are things to look at, man.
Yeah,
they really are.
Well, by the way, so for those who don't know, tomorrow, Thursday, is our last show of the week. So come hang out with us. It'll be a chance. We'll talk Tigers. We'll get all our thoughts out about really everything trending with the Detroit Lions. We'll get Raj on to talk Tigers. It'll be a great show. So come hang out with us. Get your merchandise, officialctsports.com. And hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. And follow us on social media. All the links are in the description. Any social media platform, we're on it. So go follow us. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. Till then.
Love you guys.